Hey, 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 what's up, Small Axe people, Small Axe community? This is your boy Nico here for another epic episode. And guys, today we're going to dive into something that can make or break your multifamily empire: third party property management. Are you thinking that you can manage everything yourself forever in a different market from out of state? An out of state absentee landlord, do you think that you can handle it? Well, think again, gang, because the truth is, you don't build empires by fixing toilets. You build empires by building systems, teams, and partnerships. Yes, you can have an in house property management team, but if you only have 10, 20, 50 units, you're likely not going to be doing that unless you are full time, which most of us are not. Unless you are young and hungry with no family, no other bills or responsibilities, you're living at home, then yeah, it's possible. But today I'm going to break down exactly what you need to know before turning over the responsibilities to a third party property manager. Let's go. All right. So, why do you need property management? Number one is time freedom and scalability. So, you cannot really scale if you are locked into doing property management yourself. However, like I said before, you can obviously build an in house property management team, which is highly recommended. However, you can't really do it right out of the gates. If you are new, if you only have 100 units or less, you're likely not going to be building your own property management team. You're going to be contracting it out to a third party property manager. And what this allows you to do is it allows you to focus on more acquisitions, capital raising strategy, building your own team, building systems, building processes instead of chasing rent checks, fixing minor things here and there. Because you know what? On our 76 units, we get multiple calls daily just to handle minor things. And a lot of the times, the things aren't even worth looking into because people can fix it themselves. So we have systems set up through our third party property management team that gives them tools and resources to handle minor issues on their own. That being said, you're still going to be talking with tenants all the time if you are handling property management. So I see it because I am dealing with leasing and I have a quarter of the leasing responsibilities that my property management team has, even less. They're handling everything. And all of the conversations that I have daily are honestly overwhelming. It's too much for me. I have too many other things to focus on to be talking about how somebody can move in tomorrow, the next week, or whether we're going to accept a 550 credit score or a 650 credit score, or whether they don't have the deposit on hand, or whether their deposit can be taken over by a deposit alternative program like Obligo. Like, these conversations are overwhelming, to say the least. So you have to decide, if you are like me and you only have 76 doors or even a couple hundred doors, to be honest with you, you should probably have a third party property management team. Now, again, today's talk is about third party property management. I'm obviously not opposed to in house property management team, which is called being vertically integrated. I'm obviously not opposed to that and I want to get there at some point, but you got to understand your limitations. And if you're working multiple jobs like I am and have a W 2, it is very challenging to start your own property management team. So, again, today we're looking at third party property management. When you are looking for third party property management, you got to vet them. You got to interview different companies. You got to look at their portfolio. Do they manage similar type assets? Have they done it before? How long have they been doing it for? Ask them about their systems: rent collection, maintenance, tickets, reporting, how they do leasing, where they lease, how they track leasing, what are their KPIs for other owners, how do they respond to other owners, how often do they get on calls or messages with you, how accessible are they? These are all excellent questions to ask. And if somebody is afraid of getting on a weekly call with you, or at least having a daily chat with you, you might not want to work with them unless they are 100% top notch, 1000% know what they're doing, and really are going to be schooling you. But the problem then remains: this is not their asset. It's your asset. It's your baby. They're never going to take care of it to the same degree that you would take care of it, right? So you have to think of that, which means, in my perspective, they need to be accessible to you all the time to answer questions. And to be honest, that can be overwhelming for the majority of many third party property managers. They don't want to be on call all the time to the tenants and to you, the owner. It is a very challenging job. We cannot just fluff this and say that third party property management or property managers is an easy thing to do. We cannot fluff this and say property management is an easy job. It is absolutely not. So if somebody is not willing to be there for you all the time, it's 100% understandable. Just take a step back and think, is this the right property manager for you and your asset? Always try to get references from other owners that they manage for. Contact them. Say, hey, would you mind if I contacted some of the people that you manage for? And then watch out for some red flags. Like I said before, poor communication or delayed responses is a red flag. It's unfortunate that a property manager has to be on call all the time, but that's what they signed up for. That's their job. And a lack of transparency in financials or maintenance and billing and other things, that is also a red flag as well. If they're not sharing with you all the financials that you request, if they're not sharing all their KPIs and what they're hitting and what they're missing and all the inside data and details, you should run. So I have access to my property manager's portal. He has Appfolio and I have access to it. I get to look online and check out the financials and I get to see where money is coming in, where it's going. You should have the same access. You need to discuss with your property manager how they vet their tenants. Tenant screening is extremely important. What do they look for? What is the minimum credit score that they look for? Make sure you're acceptable of that. And again, there's going to be a balancing act. If today's day and age is difficult to lease up, you might have to reduce that credit score to get people in, which can impact your delinquencies. So you might have higher delinquencies in that case. If you get people that cannot necessarily pay their rents, it's a balancing act. You got to discuss this with your property manager and what strategies they have to overcome that balancing act. For example, we have a 550 credit score minimum, right? And we have a security deposit alternative. Does your property manager offer some sort of security deposit alternative? Because not everybody can pay the security deposit. So we also look for 3 times the rent, 550 credit score, no prior evictions, no delinquencies. This is what we look for when we're vetting our residents. You should look for something similar, or at least know how your property manager is going to be vetting the tenants and make sure that you're comfortable with that. So again, we look for 550 credit score. If they don't have that, then we look for double deposit, triple deposit sometimes. Triple might be excessive, but double deposit. And if they can't afford that double deposit, we got to look for something else. We have a security deposit alternative program, which they can apply for. And if they apply for and they get it, that pays the deposit for them essentially. We got to also understand how the relationship is going to be structured with our property management team. The property management agreement is going to lay out the fees, the termination clauses, the scope of work, etc. It's also going to have their leases, and you want to review their leases and add or subtract anything from the leases that you feel necessary. Make sure that they have weekly or monthly reporting and expectations via KPIs to you. For example, we get him every Friday and he has to fill out a sheet, KPI sheet. We hold him accountable to these KPIs just like any other business partner, and you should do the same. Now, if your property manager is underperforming, it is okay to make a change. If you have given them a budget, let's say for your repairs and maintenance, and they are going way above that budget and you're not able to track it, or let's say less money is coming in, you're going to have a conversation first with your property manager. What's going on? How come these numbers are X, Y, and Z? Why are we not hitting our pro forma, etc.? You need to be in control of this. This is your asset. So you need to direct the property manager. And if the property manager is not hitting those expectations and those KPIs, you first have to have a conversation with them. What can we do differently? What happened, etc. If they are not transparent and open, if they're not coachable or willing to change, you might want to start vetting and interviewing other property managers. It is okay to look at new property management. Yes, there's going to be a transition period if you're going to switch from property management teams. It's okay though. The objective for you is if you're going to hold this property for 5, 10 plus years, you're going to want to have the best property management team in place. And if your property manager is not hitting your expectations or the KPIs that you set forth for them, then it's time to have the discussion with them first. And then if they're not willing to change or be coachable or do anything to help you, it's okay to look for another property management team. If you're seeing constant tenant issues, constant turnover, it might be a time to discuss with your property manager what you can do differently. And if your property manager is just hands up, I don't know what to do, I'm frustrated and done at this point, it's definitely time to look for a different property manager. If they're giving you a ton of suggestions and ideas to change that, awesome, fly with it, go with it. This is a good property manager. They should be providing you with some sort of path forward. Your property manager should know what's going on at the property and provide a path forward to fixing any issues or any potential issues that you see or foresee. Your property manager is there as a consultant as well as a partner. Think of your property manager as a professional. They have done this forever. This is their business. This is their livelihood. They understand how property management works. And if they are a solid partner for you, They will work with you and be coachable and change and make sure that your property performs at its best. Okay, let's take a step back now. I want you to think, number one, if this is your first, second, third, fourth, or even fifth acquisition, and you're considering self-managing, make sure you have the time and the resources to do so. If you don't have the time and the resources to do so, you are going with a third-party property manager. And when you're going with a third-party property manager, I recommend that you interview 2 to 5 property management teams. Make sure that they go on site. Make sure that they are also managing similar assets in the neighborhood. Make sure that they are coachable. Make sure that they are accessible. These are extremely important skills to find in a property manager. Are they approachable? Are they accessible? Are they coachable? And are they willing to partner with you and work with you to enhance your property's performance? Also, if you feel that something is off with your property management team, can you discuss it with them, or are they just closed off to recommendations? Make sure that you lay out your KPIs up front with your property management team. And if they are not willing to share and be transparent and be open to your KPIs and helping your portfolio grow, move on. Next property manager. All right, I'm going to leave you with some questions that you can ask a property management team when you are interviewing property managers. Here we go. Number one, how do you screen tenants? Guys, this is extremely important. Remember, as I said it before, you're looking for a clear process: credit, background check, income verification, landlord references. Weak screening is going to cause serious issues in your income. Trust me, your cash flow is going to be shot. Number two, what does your monthly reporting package include and how is it delivered? If they fumble on this question, you might want to run. You want detailed financials, P&L, rent rolls, delinquency reports, maintenance logs, all on time every single month or every week if you're doing a crazy value add. Number three, how do you handle maintenance requests? And what's your process for emergencies? They should have a 24/7 system in place because that is not what you're going to be dealing with. You need to focus on other things, but your PM should. Ideally, they should have a work order portal documenting response times, etc. Number four, what is your typical turn cost and timeline? Guys, turn costs are costing us anywhere from $1,500 to $3,500. It's insane. Prices are going up. Make sure that your property manager truly understands turn costs and what they're going to do at turns and how to recoup as much of that as possible via withholding tenant security deposits. It's unfortunate, but we have to do it. So make sure that their lease clearly states what we're going to withhold security deposits for. Very important. If you're turning over half of the units every year, you cannot be spending $3,000 per unit. It's going to crush your income like it's been doing for us. Also, asking this question, what's your typical unit turn cost and timeline? It gives you insight into their efficiency and their vendor relationships. If it takes 4 weeks and costs $3,000 for a basic turn, guys, this is an issue. Now, if it's 4 weeks vacant after the turn, right? So let's say it was half that price, $1,500. They turned it. It's ready in a week. Excellent. This is terrific. Not the property manager's issue. But then if it's sitting vacant for 4 weeks, it is still not necessarily property manager's issue. It could be a market issue. Are you in the right market or is it in the right time of the market cycle? Okay, those two issues also can be a red flag, but not for your property manager. Now, if it is sitting vacant for 4 weeks, let's say, it could be a property manager issue if they are not properly advertising the units. Check into that. And it could also be a property manager issue if maybe the expectations are too high. They're looking for 800 credit score or something like that. So just look a little bit closer. And question number 5, when you are interviewing property managers, ask this question: how do you help investors like myself improve NOI or add value to the property? This is going to show whether or not they're just collecting rent or they are thinking like an asset manager or a partner, which is what you want. If they say, maybe you can add utility bill back or rubs or increase utility bill back, and the details that they give here are crucial. For example, if they say, well, you are paying $10,000 a year in water utilities. If you're paying $10,000 a year for water, maybe you should be billing back X amount to get $9,000 in additional income. And then you might say, well, why 9,000? And their response should hopefully be, well, If we charge back $9,000, it meets the threshold for RUBS, the legal threshold of 90% bill back to our residents. That is crucial. If they can think that deeply and that detailed into your asset, they are an absolute winner. Now, whether or not they execute is something else, and that's something you're going to have to monitor throughout the course of your ownership. And if they are floundering from here and there, get on a call with them ASAP and make sure that they get their ducks in a row and get back in line. And if they're not willing to pivot and be coachable, like I said, that's a red flag. You want to run away. So make sure that when you hire third-party property managers, you ask at least those 5 questions. You can go chat GPT some more questions, but you want to see the basic ideas. You want to see how they are thinking. If they're thinking that they're just going to get a paycheck with their 8% fee, then just run. If they're thinking that they're going to work for that 8% and they're going to give you suggestions and ideas of how to manage your property better, awesome. They could be a keeper. Now, once you hire them, it is going to also take some work on your end to monitor them and do your asset management with them, working alongside of them. If they are floundering, but telling you, being 100% transparent about what's going on and working as hard as they can, keep them. If they are floundering and being shady and not transparent and open, that's the time to move on and look for another property manager. Anyway, guys, I hope that today's episode was helpful. And if it wasn't, please drop me a comment and tell me how I can make this episode better. Remember that your property manager can either protect your empire or burn it to the ground, my peeps. Choose wisely, stay sharp, and keep swinging that small axe. I will see you guys in the next episode. Love you. All right, and that's a wrap, Small Axe community. So I wanted to take a minute to say thank you so much for listening to the show. And if you liked it or got any value from it, it would really mean the world to me if you would share it with someone else and write a review. Remember, guys, keep sharpening those axes. Let's get out there. Let's crush it. Love you guys.